Welcome everyone to our magic mixer. I'm hosting in lieu of Elizabeth, who's teaching a class tonight. We're going to be hearing from Dana, and she's going to be talking about beliefs, their impact, and how to change them. So before we get started, let's just do a little bit of a grounding, centering, couple of minutes just to bring us all into this moment and to let go of the day. So let's start. You can, if you want, just close your eyes and just gather yourself inward into your own privacy, into your own solitude. Feel your feet, the bottom of your feet touching the ground, touching the earth. So you start to feel more grounded in yourself, connected to the earth. Let your body be supported. Let your shoulders drop, and any places that you have a tendency to hold tension, just notice them and invite them to let go. Breathing gently. And just with each breath, let go of the day and all that the day has held, and all the demands of the day, and all the demands and thoughts and connections to the world. We're just going to create our own little circle right now. And just letting your resonance lift and your mind calm. And let's just take 3 beautiful, gentle breaths, letting yourself relax a little bit more with each one. And then when you're ready, just open your eyes.
Yay.
All right. Well, I guess I'm going to just very, very quickly introduce Dana. And Dana is the founder of Mountain Spirit Co-op and its educational branch. And she has done the most amazing thing of bringing together such wonderful, high caliber, beautiful members, each in their own way. Healers, artists, practitioners, and created this resonance in this idea called Mountain Spirit Co-op. And so we're really lucky tonight to have Dana talk with us about her work with beliefs and her really deep and comprehensive knowledge about beliefs, their impact, and how to change them. Go ahead, Dana, whenever you're ready.
Beautiful introduction. Thank you, sweetheart. And thank you to all you beautiful members that are here joining us tonight. It was funny when I went to build a playhouse. What good is a playhouse if you don't have a bunch of play pals with you, right? So thanks for showing up. And thanks for being here tonight. I know there's lots of options out there, so I feel very honored to have you here tonight. Thank you. All right, let's get into it. So most of you know me. I think everybody knows me and knows that I've worked with Lazarus since the late 80s. And his teachings have impacted my life tremendously, to say the least. And even though I work with many, many people and guides and channels and ways with Louise Hay and myself and my higher self and a whole bunch, the foundation of what we're going to talk about is the Lazarus material. So I do always want to give credit to where credit is due to the Lazarus material, because it really changed my life. And I couldn't be more grateful for, that impact, because yeah, I didn't know we had a choice about beliefs, did we? I don't know if any of you have read the newsletter, but the Sound of Music back in 1949, written by, who was it written by? Hammerstein, and I forget. But anyways, they wrote that you have to be carefully taught, because most of our beliefs are given to us very young in age, and we pick up all kinds of things that are happening around us. We're very open and intuitive at that age, and we see if there's money issues, and we see if there's abuse issues, and we feel if there's hypocrisy, and we feel if there is evil, and we hear those words and we absorb those words, and they land in our subconscious and our unconscious, and we start running on that. Those beliefs that we may not even be aware of are helping to influence our thoughts, our feelings, our attitudes, our choices, our decisions. And they're all running off of that on automatic, and until we can understand the intricacy of how all of that plays together, sometimes we don't catch it. But once we can start recognizing it, then we can catch it more often, and we can just simply either make a choice to change it. And then sometimes we can do more work depending on how well ingrained that is. Some say that just recognizing the belief is enough to change it, and others say not so much. And I say, do whatever the hell's right for you. What am I to know? I'm just letting you know how I work it, because that's all I can tell you. So most of my beliefs I've had to work at. I have clung onto those fuckers tighter than, glue to a stick. And I've really had to get in there with determination and will, and at a 7 or above, to see those out. I'm sure lots of you know who Louise Hay is, and perhaps have worked with her. She's another one of mine from the beginning, and she had a beautiful saying about our beliefs, and she said it was like a garden, and most people's gardens might be full of weeds, and they're throwing in these beautiful affirmations on top of these 5,000 weeds, and you might guess what happens. They get choked out because we haven't weeded our garden from the ones that are holding us back. I know that for quite a long time, I had so many links to poverty issues and to worth issues in my life from so many lifetimes. I had, contracted as a nun to live in poverty, contracted as a Buddhist to live in poverty, contracted as a priest to live in poverty, and it's like, those don't just go away on their own normally. They come with us also. So not only do we have the beliefs from this lifetime, we have beliefs from lifetimes that are in our DNA and our ancestral lineage that can influence what's going on today. So when I go to think of what belief needs to be changed, I immediately go to, what must I believe to have allowed the reality I'm creating right now? What must I believe? And there's been a lot of things down there that I have worked with changing. And the trigger to know what belief it is and how it's worded, that's really a key, because the way I learned and the way I work and belief is that most beliefs are about 3 words long. That our subconscious and our unconscious are so pure. They talk with vibration and light and energy and, very simple words, like maybe a 3-word, say, and are like, I'm not worthy. But when we go to first look at those beliefs, a lot of times our logical brain will take over and it'll say, oh, I'm not worthy of love, and I'm not worthy of a good relationship, and I'm not worthy of freedom and forgiveness. And, it'll put onto these words, sometimes 7 or 8 word sentences. And that's not the boiled down process. So we think the intellectual brain, and then we sit with it and let it gel and boil it down is what I call it. And we're just going to get the meat at the bottom, the gem, so to speak. And how you've got the gem is it'll literally tweak your stomach. When you say it out loud, say if your belief was, I'm not worthy, and you logically go, but of course I'm worthy. But yeah, I know. But if you say, I'm not worthy out loud, and your stomach goes, eek, you still have that belief. And when you still have a belief that you're not worthy, my not worthy weed was a freaking tree. I had so many branches off that tree. I wasn't worthy of this. 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 And it just blossomed. It was huge. It was ginormous. It took me years cutting off one branch, another branch, another branch. Kind of like when you see a lumberjack fell a tree. They often don't take an enormous tree and just cut it once at the bottom. They'll often go up and cut off a bunch of limbs and then cut the top off and go down there. And that's simply like our beliefs. There are many copies of that belief. There might be 50 copies or 500 copies or 5 million copies of that belief. That belief might have been pounded into you for lifetimes, as it was me. I know when I got rid of my fear belief, there were over 4 million copies of that. I know when I got rid of my worth belief, I don't even know how many copies, but I just know it took me like 7 years before I went down into my Akashic records and opened my book of belief and saw I am worthy. I almost blew the session I was in with somebody because I was so shocked. I was finally worthy after, years of changing that belief. Just because you do something once doesn't mean that you did it wrong. It doesn't mean that it didn't work. It just means that you might have a lot more to let go of. And sometimes those veins run really, really deep. I was working on, I was working on some financial stuff, and I have done so much work around, the nuns and the contracts and all worth around money and all that. And I have a good life. I have a good life. My needs are met. I have plenty. I get pretty much whatever I want, except for a lot of vacations. I'm gathering the momentum for that, okay? Because I want to travel all over the place. And so I was expecting this money for over a year, and it didn't come, and it didn't come, and it didn't come. And then I was told it might not ever come, and I was told that it might be next year, and I finally just let it go. If it's next year, I'm going to worry about it in 4 months. I got a lot on my plate. And I let it go in such a profound way that I had a forgiveness wave come over me that I hadn't allowed it to come in the way that I was told, in the way that it was going to come originally. And it was so effortless, and it was so graceful, and it was so beautiful. And then a few days later, this thing boiled up in front of me like an oil well, and I could literally see it. And it said, it was like right in front of me, and it said, money is evil. And I'm like, holy fuck, okay, and I had no idea. I had no idea. That never crossed my mind that I held the belief that money is evil. Of course, I wouldn't want to have an excess of money if I thought money was evil. But then I looked at my surroundings, And even though I have millions, I am so blessed with my friendship circle. I have so many good friends that are generous and kind and loving, and they're not quote unquote tight with their money or evil with their money, and they're conscious. And I know so many people that give to the MSCO program, both with time and money and whatnot. But if you look in the world, there's still a lot of evidence that there are people who use money for evil, for wars, to divide us into different categories and set us up against each other. There's a lot of that going on. So it doesn't even necessarily have to be said, although how many people have heard money is the root of all evil? It's a pretty common thing. And that was held in my freaking system this whole lifetime, right? So I'm like, okay, thank you very much for that information. I'm gonna go down and take care of that belief, because that's what I do. I'm a metaphysician. And so I go down there. It took me 3 fucking days to work out that belief. I couldn't have it. Now, Lazarus gave us the beautiful meditations that I've used for over 30 years for changing beliefs. And then I like the power of numbers, the power of 3. And I like working with the goddess. And I know that forgiveness is needed. And I know that I have DNA and cellular connections to all of the hurts and the traumas and the pains that carrying this belief, for whether it was 50 or 60 years or 50 or 60 lifetimes, has caused. And so I'm going to clear up all that mess while I'm down there, because my father told me to do it right the first time, or you're going to have to do it again and again and again. So it's right. And he was right about that. He was right about that. And since I'm lazy, I like to try to get it done the first time. So it took me 3 days of going in and out of that meditation. I had volumes, over 20 volumes that were this thick, that had just thousands of pages in there, that money is fucking evil. Excuse my French, I'm swearing a lot tonight. I'm good at it though, aren't I? Anyway, so I actually, when I was down there, I created a new tool to help me destroy those beliefs, because normally when I'm down there, I will take my book of beliefs and I'll write void on it 3 times, power of 3. And the first time I write it, and when you write, whether it's in the physical when you're awake, or whether you're in your subconscious, when you write, you are forming a chemical reaction in your brain. So when you form a chemical reaction in your brain, the chemicals that are going off are telling our conscious, our subconscious, and our unconscious, hey, new note coming in from the boss. Check it out, read it on IO5. And that's important. That's important, because we want all of those parts of us to hear what we have to say. So when we're in the meditation and we write void on our belief, write it, desire, will, and imagination, right? The raw materials for creating reality. Write that at the 7 or above with your determination. And by a 7 of above, if 1 was not even thinking about it and 10 was all over that nonsense, write it at least a 7 or above. And I like to get in there and I put my energy in there and I write void. And I sense my hand writing the word void in my meditation, because I want those chemical releases going on, right? I want all those bells and whistles. I want all of me to know about this. So I write it, and I write it 3 times. And each time I write it, I pause and I take a breath and I put it in my diaphragm and I own it. I voided that belief. I don't need that belief anymore. And then I write it again. And the second time I write it, it starts to seep down through the pages. And I let it seep down as much as it can write. And I always do with what I am ready to release in this moment in time that is highest and best for me, with harm to none. Because I don't need to go into a healing crisis to get this done. If it takes me 5 times or 3 times or 1 time or 50 times, that's what it's going to take me, because I'm growing through grace and ease. I choose to grow through elegance. I choose to grow through joy. And joy doesn't include healing crisis necessarily, unless they're for my highest good. And then I just take them and have a nap, that's cool too, right? So the third time, I allow it to seep down to as many pages as is right for me in this given moment, and go from there. And then we go into more of healing, where we integrate that in, and then I tear out my pages. And depending on how you want to tear out your pages, you can do it however you want. I create 3 different ways: by writing voice, then tearing out my pages, throwing them into the old incinerator, the waste cans you had in high school that were metal, only mine's tricked out. It has a flipper pedal at the bottom that I can go like click with my foot, and it ignites it. It's like the phoenix, and it turns it all up into smoke. It lights it into fire. So nothing's left but ashes, right? And then we're going to pause, and we're going to recognize the void. We're going to breathe in that void, and we're going to be grateful for that void and for creating that void. And then we're going to take a journey into the goddess, and inviting her in, the divine feminine, and allowing her golden salve to come through us and to heal all the brokenness that's created, all the trauma that is held in our cellular beings, whether it is in this lifetime or past lifetime. All we have to do is be willing, because those are some of the keys: to be willing and to ask for help, and then to have the humility to allow the help and for things to be different, right? So there's processes in there, and there's all these links that we're connected to. We're this light, but we have all of these energetic things that we're connected to. And so I like to be in that presence of myself as that light and sense all of that. Yep, I'm willing, I'm tapped into that. Yep, I'm grounded. Yep, I've got my determination and will at a 7 or above in my imagination, and tapping into all of those as we go. So when we're looking at the belief of changing a certain belief, it's really important to keep the same syntax. And I should have paused for a second. Are there any questions so far? Good? All right. So keeping the same syntax, to me, and my brain, it's easy to think of as, remember that, I think it was an octagon shaped plastic toy that we give children, and it has a star cut out and a square cut out and a triangle cut out. Anybody remember those? Okay, so that's what keeping the same syntax looks like to me. So when we're trying to change a belief, we're pulling out a star and we're going to replace it with another star. Or we're pulling out a square and we're going to replace it with another square. So if the belief we're pulling out reads in 3 to 5 words, usually 3 or 4, I'm not worthy. The only thing we're going to change there is one word, and the not to the am. And then I just basically split the I'm into I am worthy. Okay, so we're really only changing one word. We're splitting this word. It was always 2 mashed in there because it's an I apostrophe M. And then not worthy. So that is really, really, really important. If we try to take out a belief that has 3 words and we put in a 7 words, our subconscious goes, does not compute, and it throws it away. And it throws it away because it doesn't fit. It doesn't link in the circuit. It doesn't make a connection. So that's a really important part. It's a really important part to have it linked so that it jives and connects. And then there's also mind blank. There's also mind blank. So, but the syntax, the plastic and scones, good. I don't know what I was going to say, but moving along. So when we're working with the beliefs, I ask myself, what must I believe to have this reality? What do I need? What do I want changed? Do I want more money? Do I want to be more appreciated? Do I want to feel more worthy? Do I want to feel more loved? What is it that I'm missing? What is it that, I want to change? So what must I believe that has created this space now? And then take it from the intellect, boil it down to the 3 words. When it makes your stomach go, then you know you've hit the spot. And then change, keeping the same syntax. Okay? And so that belief is going to bleed in, like we said, into your attitudes, into your thoughts, into your feelings, into your choices, into your decisions. And so it's good to know that, okay, if I'm changing a belief, right now I have the belief that I'm not worthy, and I'm allowing people to come in and they're not being as nice to me as I would like, or I'm not receiving as much money as I would like, then so I find the belief, and now I look at the attitudes. What am I carrying around? And I look at my payoffs and my poisons, which is also in the manifesting class that we teach, right? So am I being less than? Am I being better than? Am I being righteous? Am I being blameful? Am I clinging to the past? What are my payoffs? Because when we make change, things change. So if I'm carrying these attitudes, these thoughts, and these feelings, and I change my belief, what am I going to be thinking about with the new belief? Does that make sense? So if I believe I'm worthy now, and I really feel that, and my vibration is that I'm worthy, am I going to be thinking different thoughts? Am I going to be having a different attitude? And when we have a different attitude, we usually don't even come up against those problems unless we need to show ourselves that, yeah, we got this. Because most of us create challenge. In metaphysics, it's called the narrows. And it's like anytime you make a change, you're thrown into the narrows. Oh, yeah? So when you look to receive something, you have to give something up. And it's not like money or something like that. It's usually like I'm going to give up my blame, or I'm going to give up my pity around this. Now I can't take my pity hit because I don't have enough money to go on vacations all over the world. What the hell? Okay, so what does that look like? What kind of attitude am I going to have? I've got enough money. I can go where I want. I'm going to have that belief. I'm going to have that attitude. I'm going to have the thoughts around, okay, well, let's plan the next vacation. Let's plan the next, wherever I'm going to go, because that's going to feed. So if you're going to change something, something else is going to change from what you're giving up. So what does the new thing look like? If you're giving up this, what does the new thing look like? That's your identity and your image and the narrows. When we're putting to the narrows, there's 3 things to check for. Our frequency. If we're holding the frequency of our payoff, which could be blame, self-pity, looking for the guarantee, the avoidances, clinging to the past, righteousness, any of those, and we change that, we're going to be vibrating to something different. And then we're thrown into the narrows. And that's when we have to choose something different. I know I'm really good at playing pity, but I'm not going to play that now because I gave that up for wealth, right? I gave that up for worth. I gave that up for whatever. So we're going to walk through the narrows in gratitude without going into all the games. The games are like doors on each side. I didn't have to draw them there. I have them really big over there, but here's like a smaller version. This is from the manifesting class, but we walk through the narrows, and all these different doors are there with the games of blame and looking for the guarantee and self and pity and self-righteousness. And then we get our support. So for every thought and feeling, you have, this is like a Viking ship, okay? And it transports us into the new frequency, the new vibration, the new world. And every thought we have, every feeling we have, every attitude we have, every belief we have that is in the direction of where we're going helps us get there. It's our support system. But if I say I want more wealth, but all I'm thinking about all day is how poor I am, that's not going to work, is it? If I think I want more wealth, but I'm thinking about all day, you know, how much this sucks, and then I go into pity, those are making the oars go backwards and sideways and all, and pretty soon my boat's just going in a freaking circle and I'm not really going anywhere because my vibration has lowered back to meet what I say I don't want. You see? So when we're working to change a belief, we recognize that we are the spark of light, and this spark reaches out with many tentacles impacting us, our image, our thoughts, our feelings, our choices, our decisions, our beliefs. All of these are impacted every time we say we're going to change, whether we buy into the poisons or whether we take the challenge and go in with determination and go, I see you, ego, I see you, righteousness, not playing there today, later, you know, and just keep walking through with the humility and grace and gratitude. Now, my three favorite things for, I call the keys in manifesting, go with this too. And that is a state of gratitude. When we are in a state of gratitude, and that's usually where I really choose and work hard to stay in when I'm walking through the narrows, because if I'm in gratitude, if I'm feeling gratitude, it's absolutely impossible for my ego to take me into better thans and less than. It's absolutely impossible for my ego to win when I'm feeling grateful, not just thinking it, but when I'm feeling it. Sometimes when I'm thinking it, but when I'm feeling it, I got this. Because now I'm thinking it and feeling it, right? And I got this, and I'm not going to go into that better than or less than, or that blame or that pity or whatever. So that is what I use as a momentum, and it gets all of my oars in gear, and they're all rowing in the same direction. And I get there with a lot more joy. And isn't that what we're all doing? We're doing this work so we can have more joy in our life, so we can have more abundance in all ways that are good, right, and true with harm to none. Yeah, I know I am. So that's that. And I want to save time for the meditation. And when I first thought about this, I thought, ooh, I want to show that meditation, because after I did that 3 days worth of meditation, I received a check for 10 grand in 72 hours. And then 2 weeks later, I received one for 20 grand. All the money that was owed to me and more came as soon as I did my work. And it was effortless on the outside. I did nothing on the outside. It was all on the inside. It was all reflected from my worth. So first of all, I wanted to do that because we all deserve that. We all deserve that. And then Spirit's like, hold on, you know, because we also want to be worthy. If we work to change a belief that is here and it's on top of our foundation, but our foundation is broken, we won't usually keep it. Those are called one-hit wonders. Anybody know what a one-hit wonder is? So yeah, right? I want to be a rock star so bad. I am a great singer and a great player, and I want to be a rock star. And they go and they have all this determined will and imagination, 10 or above. They've got it. And they get there. But now their beliefs tell them they're not worthy to keep it. And their beliefs and their attitudes and their choices and their decisions, they're not strong enough to hold it. So I don't know if I want to do that one tonight, because I want to make sure. I mean, I know you guys are all pros and professionals and probably have worked on it for years and are all set and good to go and have your worthiness down. But it is a good thing to have down. And I wanted to offer the option, because we can do the I am worthy belief to change, or we can do, and I changed money is evil to money is energy, because that's what money is, right? It's energy. And man, am I able to let that flow into me so big and beautiful. And it just had such a different trigger than everything I've ever changed in the past, which I can't even tell you all the things I've changed in the past. I work my stuff. So, but that worked. So can we vote on it? So I know a couple people took themselves off of things. There you are. So let's say a hand for if we want to do I am worthy first. All right, let's do I am worthy. Let's do I am worthy. And then all of you that are here tonight, if you want to work on me with the other, we'll make a special time and we'll do it. Okay? So I appreciate you being here tonight, and we all deserve abundance, and we are all getting it. I feel it in my bones, and it's fighting. It gives me a vibration of a 7 or above. It really does, because we deserve it. Yeah, Patricia, unmute, please.
If we don't do I am worthy, what other ones?
I was gonna do the one with the wealth, but I'm going to do that one another time, and I can do it at another time for all of us, whether it's individually or as a group. We'll figure that out down the road. But right now, we've only got about 15, 20 minutes left. So I want to do the I am worthy, which I feel is really good, because it'll make sure that we have our foundation even stronger than what it was yesterday. Even if we've done it 1,000 times before, we can, can we have too much worse?
But still, we can be, I am worthy of abundance.
I'm going to go with the basic. I'm going to go, I am worthy. If you want to go with I am worthy with abundance, go for it. You don't have to do what I'm doing. And Patricia, you don't have to do that either. You can do what I'm going to say, I am worthy in the thing, because I feel like they're showing me to say that. But you can change it, and you can just like bleep me out for a second and put right in whatever you want to do. All that matters is that you do it at a 7 or above. You can choose whatever you want. I have people use my recordings for 50 different beliefs, and it was on something totally different. So you guys are powerful imaginations. You guys all got this. Hey? All right, so let's do it. So I'm not going to explain it all. I told you the big part of it, and I'm just going to take you on the rest, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't trust me, I think. So here we go. All right, just ground yourself, close your eyes, get comfortable. You can turn off your video if you want, however you want to do it. We're going to count down from 5 to 1. I'm going to turn on this. And start with taking some nice, gentle breaths. I like to breathe in through my nose and out through my mouth, letting go of any anxiety or tension. You can do it however it's right for you. Breathing in and breathing out, releasing more of everything that doesn't serve you in this moment. I'm going to count ourselves down from 5 to 1, counting ourselves down. Going to 4, and with each descending number, we release more as we become more gentle, more relaxed, going deeper. 3, going deeper. And at 3, I like to offer up my ego to my higher self to hold for me. I got stuff to do and don't need to be interrupted. And we go deeper to 2. Feeling ourselves become so gentle. Everything pouring out our arms and our feet and our legs. And at 1, I want you to find yourself in your safe place in nature. Right around the corner. Just a little deeper. And 1. Find yourself in nature. Find yourself in your safe place in nature. And open your senses there to the sights, the sounds, what time of day it is, the smells, the taste of the air, and the earth beneath your feet. Breathe it in. And as you do, begin to open your unfamiliar senses as well. And allow the feelings of security and joy and a big warm hug, love and safety to envelop you. Breathe it in, ground it, own it, claim it. Fill yourself with your senses. Now as you stand in safety, you make a choice. I'm here to change a belief. And I know where I need to go. And with that, we begin to follow the path that leads out of safety, as so many of us have taken so many times before. We follow the path out of safety, and it meanders about, maybe through grassland, maybe through dunes, but we're going to follow it until it leads us to the woods. And as we come upon the crest of the woods, we smile, going into the woods, knowing we're getting closer, recognizing the different sounds, the leaves between our feet and the ground, and the noise of the birds change as we go deeper. And as we go deeper, the canopy becomes more dense, and the sounds begin to echo in ways that only the woods can make. And we follow the path. Nothing is in our way that we can't climb over or go around. Nothing. We've got this. And we go, and we go, and we go, and it bends and it winds, and it bends back, and it goes up little hills and down, winding around. And then we look and we're like, what? Where am I? How did I get lost? I was just on the path, and now nothing looks familiar. And you're called, something off on the right, there's a field, and you look, and there it is. There it is, the old house that holds the cellar that goes down into the room of your belief. And you smile as you start to walk across the field. Now, how did it show up out of nowhere? There it is. And you walk across the grasses as they brush against your legs. and you walk to the house, and you get to the house, and you look down, and there are the old cellar doors that are dug into the earth. And you have to reach down and grab those cold metal handles and lift it up, and it squeaks and moans, and then a waft of earth air hits your nostrils as you open the big doors and let them fall away to the side. And you take the breath and ground yourself, making your choice. I'm here to change my beliefs. And you start with one step down into the earth and another, gently, slowly, methodically, with intention, with feeling each step as it goes down, as the squeak of the boards, each step going down further and further and further. It's starting to get a little darker and further, and then you land on a landing. And above you, there's a single light bulb with a string, and you pull it, and it turns on and illuminates. It illuminates the rest of the stairs. Another set of stairs going further down. And you hang on to the rail, and you walk one step at a time, listening to every creak your weight makes on the stairs as you go deeper and deeper, one step at a time. And when you reach the bottom, you feel the earth beneath your feet, and you take another breath, knowing you're closer. And you walk down the hallway, past the Akashic records, everything that has ever been, everything that will ever be, every lifetime you've ever had, all of the things of the past are littered to the left and to the right of you. You could stop and play and be lost forever, but that's not what you're here today for. Today, you're here to follow the hallway, to follow the path to the room of your beliefs. It's not very far. It's at the end of the hallway. It's at the end of the hallway. There's a door. It's well lit. It's labeled Room of My Beliefs. Find it. Get there. Smile, you found it. And reach out and grab the knob and pull the door open. And as you do, you see your table, your desk in the center of a room with a chair and a giant book in there. And you're going to walk over to that chair and that desk, and you're going to sit down. But before you do, you take one breath and you ground yourself. And you pull up your determination. And you pull up your will. And you smile at your imagination. And you make sure that they're all shining and working, pumping brightly at a 7 or above. And as you sit, you flip open the book, and it'll open to the belief you're here to change. The belief you're here to change. Normally 3 words. Occasionally 4. Possibly 5. We're going to work with, there it is. There it is, bold in front of me. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. It makes me sick to even look at it. I don't want to vomit. And I get angry, and my determination and my will flare to a 7 or a 9. And I look on the desk, and there's an implement, and I grab it, be it a pen or a marker or paint, and I write the word void. V. Oh. And I feel myself write the word I and the D, and I put my energy into the word, and I breathe, accepting and claiming that I voided that out. That is not my belief anymore. I don't choose that belief for me. And I take another breath and I allow my determination and my will and my imagination to rise again. And I grab my implement and I write on top of it, void, V. Oh, and as I do, the ink seeps down to the pages below. However many copies of this belief that I have, I and D, and I watch it as it seeps down to the appropriate amount of copies of this belief that I have, that I am willing to release today with harm to none. And I breathe. And now, with the most adult self, filled with dignity, determination, will, and imagination, I write void. And I breathe as I sense it permeate more and more copies that I'm ready to let go of. And now I turn to the book and I begin to tear out the pages. And I tear them out and I tear them up into bits and I throw them into the canister next to my desk. And I tear more out and I shred them to bits. And I'm releasing as I'm shredding them to bits. I'm grateful that they're dead and gone. And I ignite my burner can that ignites all of the pieces. I can continue tearing out until I am done and they all ignite and turn to dust, to ash. And I breathe. And I sense the void in my body. I sense where it's been pulled out of organs, out of bones, out of veins. I sense it pulled out of knees and appendages and hands and elbows and neck and shoulders. And I'm grateful. And I offer forgiveness to all those parts of me that allowed it in the first place. And as I lay back comfortably in my chair, my crown chakra opens and the divine feminine is there and begins to pour her light, her beautiful golden light that is filled with every color known and unknown, seen and unseen, in this and in all realms, pours into my brain, washing my head, my cranium, and in between the left and the right hemispheres, and all the parts and squiggles, washing and cleansing and pulling out 80 and all old synapses that no longer serve me, pulling them out and drawing the residue, drawing the residue, drawing the residue. And it carries it down my throat, my chest, my arms, to my hands, out my fingers, filling my chest, my organs, my hips, my thighs, my knees, my calves, ankles, feet, and out my toes, pouring through me this golden light of the divine, drawing all the residue I couldn't even fathom was there. And when all the residue is drawn and carried out of my body, transmuted to lavender, never to be picked up again, more of the light keeps flooding and pouring through me, and it begins to heal the scars. It begins to heal the tears and the punctures. It begins to heal where things were broken. And I allow it. And as I allow it, visions, even if I can't focus on them, start floating through my head of how things can be different, how attitudes can shift, how new choices can be apparent, how thoughts and feelings, once healed, everything changes if you are but to allow it and to have the humility to let it change you. And you breathe this in and you ground it as you claim it and own it in every cell of your being, in your organs, in the marrow and blood of your bones and body. Breathing it in deep, and as you do, your desire, your will, your imagination begin to pump again, pumping steadily up to a 7 or above, and you feel your worth, you feel your worth, and you come and grab your stencil and you go back to the book of beliefs, and all the pages now are white, clean, new, fresh, and you write, I am worthy. And you breathe it in, you grounding and owning it in every cell. And you take it back with your determination and will at a 7 or above, and you write on top of it so it seeps to the pages below. I am worthy. And you breathe it in, excited, filled, letting it ignite in all of your cells. Going back to the book one last time with the ink flowing to as many pages that are right for you to fill. I am worthy. And you claim it now with so much grace and dignity. Perhaps tears flow from your eyes. Perhaps a permanent smile plastered about your face, or a warm hug to the divine. And you stand grounded to the heavens and the earth, and you close the book. Taking another breath, you walk to the door, exit, closing it behind you, nearly flying down the hall. At the bottom of the stairs, you look up, and before you know it, you're at the top of the stairs, breathing 3 more breaths. I am worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. And you close the doors. And as you do, you pop back into your safe place in nature. You're back into safety where you know well. And again, a smile might permeate your face as you breathe and ground, claiming and owning at new level at higher vibration. I'm worthy. I am worthy. I am worthy. And as it's time to come back, we're going to count you up from 1 to 5 with each ascending number, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back, coming back. 1, coming back. 2, coming back, coming back. 3, feeling that which is beneath you, coming back. 4, starting to move your fingers, your toes, breathing deeply, coming back in. 5, and with a deep breath into your diaphragm, claiming, holding, pushing into every cell. And again, and one more time. And so it is. And so mote it be. Wow. In God's and so it is. Yay. Yay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Beautiful, beautiful meditation. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So
Well,
remember,
it was recorded, right? So we can
yes, it's
access it
recorded.
on
It'll be up in a couple of days on our YouTube channel.
Okay.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay.
And then just remember to recognize what you need to let go to show that worth, and what new attitudes you're going to be able to carry, and how much brighter your frequency is, whether that's the frequency or the narrows or the support. Receive it all. You deserve it. Because you guys are fucking awesome. Oh. And if you want to work on the other one with me, just give me a shout. Text me, email with me, and we'll work it out. Thank you all for being here tonight, and thank you for your patience. I guess we ran over a minute. So,
Okay. See you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank